God's grace, through his Son Jesus, has been my constant source of comfort and hope ever since this truth was first preached to me. I realize how fortunate I have been and really want others to hear and understand. Jesus is the gateway to seeing grace and freedom. That's why we must never run anywhere else but to Jesus. I know I can totally trust in his love and mercy. I have nowhere else to run. I can hide nowhere else but in him. I realize we understand, see and hear the good news of the kingdom of God only by revelation imparted to us by the Holy Spirit. It really is a process of learning, but I know this, that he will never bruise the weakest reed or extinguish the weakest flame. If you are weak and in total reliance on his love and mercy, you are in a very blessed and in an amazing place. Stay and grow in this place, for it is only by grace that you and I are ever saved. This Jesus is available to anyone, not just to the learned, the rich, or the influential, for there is only one way to see Jesus, and that is by his grace. So, if you can begin to see that in Jesus you see hope and understanding of eternal life, you have been shown something very special. Jesus is full of grace, mercy, and compassion. He is like a brilliant, unblemished diamond with an unfathomable depth of brilliance. Once we have caught a glimpse of his purity and wholeness, we cannot help but want to be transformed into his image. The gospel writers all saw a facet of this Jesus. They have recorded their perspectives and personal views of how they saw him. Nothing has changed. He is still longing to reveal his beauty to anyone who will stop long enough to look into his grace, mercy, and love. Grace cannot be bought or earned. It is absolutely free, paid for by Jesus when he died on the cross. Grace is very hard for some people to accept. To some it is too good to be true. Some feel that they have to somehow pay for it. Mostly it is because of pride. We never like to admit that we are sinners undone and in need of someone to have mercy on us. Pride keeps us in the dark where only fear and insecurities reside. Accepting grace is the doorway to eternal freedom. In trying to explain grace, I have come up with a few thoughts for you to ponder on. Grace loves to be merciful. His grace gives us hope to believe that he can do all things. It's his grace that opens the eyes of the blind man. His grace is what moves the mountain. Man has to use a shovel. God gives grace to the humble, but resists the proud. His grace gives us the ability to fulfill his plans. His grace teaches us to learn to wait and rely on his power. His grace helps the weak to become strong. His grace eliminates the need to strive to win his approval. Grace keeps mankind humble and always thankful. Understanding his grace keeps us dependent on his love. Grace has no beginning and no end. Grace is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Grace is free. His grace does not demand anything back. Seeing and accepting grace allows us into his presence. Grace is the only foundation stone on which we can build. Without his grace, we can do nothing. Understanding his grace changes a man's heart. Trusting in his grace is the only way we can ever please God. You will never find peace until you totally rest in his grace. Grace is new every morning. His grace will never let you down. Knowing grace gives us compassion for our fellow man. His grace opens up unseen possibilities. It's only by his grace that our eyes are open to see Jesus. Jesus and grace go hand in hand. They are inseparable. Grace is so beautiful that only when we begin to understand and accept it do we realize that this freedom we now have cost Jesus his very life. I see very clearly that Jesus has come to set me free from sin and from continuing to sin. Grace is not a license to sin. If you think it is, you have missed the whole point of grace.